I'm here today with four of my favorite musical artisans, not just artists, but highly talented, versatile crafters, architects of powerful and inviting musical style. Amanda Walter, Mark Lalema, Dizzy, Fay, welcome.
Thank
I
you.
just want to start by saying that listening to your music, especially watching you to perform, evokes a level of intimacy between myself and your performances that feels like being in a small, dark speakeasy. Nightclub-ish with everybody looking at the stage. Your first album, Songbook, that you put out in 2021, it had the feeling of low lights, close quarters, a vibe that even though it might be wrong, it was oh so right. I think, Mark, you said illegal, but harmless.
Exactly.
When we were talking. Your second album, Hooked, that you put out in 2022, put a spotlight on that stage because you had powerful inclusion of percussion and brass and even symphony orchestra, right? And it still felt intimate. It still felt private. It still felt like it had that hint of illegal and harmless, like the speakeasy feel. So no statement of negativity around the fact that you put in so much more music behind it, so much more power behind it, because it still has that feeling. And I absolutely loved it. The song that we're going to hear later, Hooked, phenomenal. I listened to it. My wife listened to it and she was blown away. Absolutely blown away. Just that intro, you get drawn in and you're going, what are we going to hear? What are we? And then wham. And then the voice, that softened voice, the music is powerful and sharp, and then the voice brings you in, and it's like, okay, I'm comfortable again. I take my drink, I'm gonna sit at the table, I'm gonna watch.
That's so, the harmless.
The thing that was the most interesting to me, the thing that shocked me when I heard it from your, Jane is your
publicist.
Our publicist.
She's your publicist. So she told me that you've only known the two of you have only known each other for a couple of years. When I saw you play, when I listened to the chemistry that you put out as a duo, I felt you'd known each other for decades. Decades. The way you work together, the organic connections that you have when you sing, when you play, the way you interact, I thought you'd known each other for a long, long time. And she said, oh, only a couple of years. And I was shocked, because it seems so seamlessly interconnected. You have to tell me, both of you, Dizzy, Fay, Amanda, Mark, how you met, where you met. I know there's that statement of, it was a small stage in the middle of winter. What I want to hear is from you, both of you, how you met and how you felt about it, where the connection happened, and then how it grew from there.
Well, it was Burlington, Ontario. We were both hired to be on a tour as separate performers, and just kind of met at soundcheck. And I think so that would have been maybe a couple of years before we actually did the first record, I guess. Faye, correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And I think it was the very first tour that Sheila asked me that question. Or was it the second tour, the year after
I think it might have been our second tour together, where my singing partner from my folk group, Dalla, Sheila Carabine, she's also my best friend, and she has always known that jazz is where my heart voice is, and I've always wanted to sing my favorite jazz songs, and I had been hoping to do a record at some point as like a bucket list thing. And when I had heard Mark play, I just had this feeling that he had similar sensibilities, and confessed to Sheila that, maybe Mark would be a good partner to work on a record. Maybe he could produce a record for me. And she blurted it out side stage. And basically said, what did she say to you?
Amanda wants you to produce her jazz record. And we were basically, like the piano was still ringing, like from the last note of the song before the intermission on the concert stage that we were at. And it was just like, what? I said, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. So that's how it started. which is kind of weird because I don't think there was too much jazz in that show. So
Nope.
I think there was a total of one jazz song. It was a because it was a Christmas concert. I think there was a Vince Guaraldi song, and I think that was it. Maybe another the feature. Yeah. So I don't know how you knew it was going to work, or how
Well,
you.
I was familiar with Mark's work, his own songwriting and his trio, and we were guests. Dalla were guests on your series in St. Catharines, and I guess that must have solidified it for me because hearing you sing your own songs, like it's such an incredible show, and you're just it's pretty incredible to hear what you're capable of. And that was just like, this person likes to play. He's got harp music in there.
Yeah, so that was the beginning. Yeah, and then we had a meeting. I remember we had a meeting in Oakville at a restaurant or something, and you said, "Do you think this should be a duo?" Right? Because you had been sending me songs like cover tunes that you had grown up with, and you said you sang with your father and all that, and so I remember going through songs and then sending you some suggestions, and then we had a meeting, and you said, maybe this should be a duo, and I said, no, it's your record, like it's not we're doing cover tunes and it's songs from your childhood and all that. I said it's a solo record, and then we started rehearsals, and then I asked you if you had written anything in this style. And you had a tune you were working on, and so I think you sang it for me, and then I ended up doing just reharmonizing it or so, just messing with it. And then I heard you sing that, and then I thought, oh, whoa, this is another level. It was so different for me than you singing the cover tunes, even though that was great. But this felt like the door opened and the light came shining, and I go, oh, hold on a second. Do you have any more? And then we started writing together. That's how we started writing together. And then it just kind of clicked, like the songwriting, Yeah, and then it became really obvious that it was a duo.
So how did you come up with the personas? So from either one of you, both of you, how did you come up with the personas for Dizzy?
Oh, it was all me. No,
Yeah.
we were actually once we decided that it was a duo. I remember we were on the phone, and I remember saying, like any name, like it should be a name that as soon as you hear it, you kind of know what it is. I said something like, I don't know, like Dizzy and Fay or something like that. And you said, oh my God, my manager has been calling me Faye Dunaway for years, right? I said, oh. So we kicked around some other names, but I think that was the first thing that was blurted out, Dizzy and Fay. Right?
And so why pick personas? Why not be you on the stage? What made you think that a persona is a better path to take?
I don't think, like, we're not doing. I think so the thing behind the name Dizzy and Fay, I think if you said, oh, my favorite band is Dizzy and Fay, well, right away I think someone's going to think those are pretty old-fashioned names, right? And there's two names. It's probably a duo. So it just that branding, that sound of it, right, goes with the sound of the music, I think, right? Now, we're not doing a parody or anything like that. We're not really, there's a lot of me and Dizzy, like there's quite a bit. So it's just, I just love that idea. I heard that Beyonce, for example, used to have terrible stage fright, and she created a name, Sasha Fierce, before she went on.
Yes.
So it's kind of cool. It's just a little, bit to get out of yourself and say, you get on stage, then you can shed all the things that happened to you that day or the things that could distract you. And you just go out there, and now you're just in this world of Dizzy and Fay. All those things, that guy cutting you off or that ticket you got that day doesn't even exist, right? Yeah. So it's not like we're creating, comic book characters that don't relate. Dizzy and Fay is very much both of us. I don't want to speak for Amanda, but it's not a huge stretch, Dizzy, for me at all.
Yeah,
So,
I think.
Sorry, Amanda. I was going to say,
Sorry.
so Fay to you is, how much of you is Fay? How much of Fay is you?
I think, I don't know, it's so merged. It's more permission. Faye gives me permission to embrace sides of myself that I may not have had the confidence to bring to stage. And for me, it's because I've always sung this style of music by myself alone, and I've never really let anyone hear my passion, or this is new for me, new territory for me. I think I was a little scared at first and a little shy, and Faye gave me the confidence I needed, even though I've been performing for over 20 years. I think Faye just helped me get over my own insecurities, actually, and step into myself a little bit. So yeah, she's more of like, I don't know, she's like my lipstick, she's gets me ready to be fully in the song when I need to be.
So a good question then would be, describe Faye for me. Give me Faye in a nutshell. Give me Faye in 5 words, although I know it's more than 5 words to describe Faye. And I'm going to do the same thing with you with Dizzy, Mark. I want to know that aspect of it, because you come on stage, I'll just gloss you over a little, or butter you up, pardon me. It looks like the two of you are those persona. It's not like you're acting. It's as though, like you say, you are given permission to become full. On watching you on actual stage, watching you when you're in your dressing room singing, it's as though I am watching two people that really exist, that are not unlike you, because I've had the conversation with you on the phone, and now seeing you here, it's not changed anything. You are the same people that I spoke with on the phone. I've now got animated faces that go along with the voices. But watching you singing is just phenomenal. Watching you playing, the two of you, the chemistry, it's as though we're back in the 1930s, 1940s, and there's these two people that just absolutely live from the music that they play, the music that they put forward. And that's what I get from you. It's powerful. It's overwhelming. It's everything that you want when you want to go see music. And that's Dizzy and Fay. So you need to describe to me who these people are, because they are people that I have met 50 years ago, if I could.
I love that so much. Yeah, Faye is she's lost. She's lost in the music. She's totally 100% in it. She's strong. She's a little bit angry. She's very sensitive, and she's super romantic.
I was going to say she's a bit of a flirt, but there's only certain songs. And in certain songs, it's like, I'm a flirt a bit, but then if you reach your hand out, you're going to get a slap. That's it. Nope, you've gone too far. I think that came across in Chocolate Cake. I think that's where I picked that up. So now, Mark, what about Dizzy? Tell us about Dizzy, because I get a Piano Man vibe from Dizzy. I get a young, and I can't think of his name now. I had it on the tip of my tongue, and now I can't.
Piano Man?
The Piano Man is.
Billy Joel.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh. Yeah. Well, Dizzy, I don't know. I think Dizzy, maybe his upbringing wasn't as sweet as Faye's, for example, and maybe he's a little rough around the edges, and he's kind of used to looking over his shoulder a little bit, and sitting with his back to the wall. And but when he gets at the piano, when he gets on stage, he knows he's completely safe there, and he doesn't play like a lot of guys play, and because he didn't have the same kind of upbringing, and he's had to do a lot of different kinds of work just to make it. And so when he gets on stage, he's totally free and just does whatever the heck he wants. I think that's,
Yeah, I was going to say, watching you play, Mark, Dizzy, I would describe your playing as emotional. You play emotionally. You push. This is gonna, I overly word things, but you push your soul through your fingertips across the keys more to evoke an ambiance than to play music. A vibe through which Amanda sings and is not forced. You know,
Right.
it's just this flow that comes from you, and you just see it as you play. And the two of you sort of battle or play on one another that I've seen. Amanda will change a note. She'll change the cadence of the way she's singing, and you'll play along. But then I'll see the look in your eye. I'll see you sort of glance off in a direction. You go, oh, yeah? And you play something to say, I'm going to throw you a curveball and see if you
Okay.
can
Yeah.
run with it. And it just flows. Like I say, the two of you, this is why I say it sounds like you've been there organic for decades. And it's
Oh, cool.
amazing that you've done this in such a short period of time. Really,
Well,
really.
yeah, you know, both of us, you know, the longest part of my career was spent supporting singers, usually. And most of the time getting hired by recording artists or singers, touring artists, and learning their music and supporting them, you know. So it's really listening. And wasn't until maybe, I don't know, decade or so ago that I started singing my own music and fronting. But prior to that, I was singing harmony and backing up, and Amanda's been singing. She's a professional harmony singer, you know. So we both have that, like, those kind of jumbo ears, just because. Also, I hate rehearsing, and and I've always hated rehearsing, and I kind of, you know, worked it out. Like, my whole life has been, you know, playing music alone, practicing, and being able to musically pivot at any point, you know, to react to the moment, because that to me is kind of the biggest thrill of playing. Is It's not this preordained performance that you're going to present. And Dizzy and Fay were only two. Like, we could easily just say, okay, we're going to do it like this every time, but I wouldn't. I would have quit the band by now, you know. So it's it's like, so the fact is, and I know Amanda's super tuned into everything I'm playing. You know, she could probably sing you 5 piano solos like that I've totally forgotten already. I don't remember. She could, like, sing it back to you. So that skill was something, even as a child, that I said I want to be able to do that someday. It's just to sit, no music, and hear the sounds in my head and play them. So that's been a lifetime goal of mine, and I'm still trying to perfect it. You know?
Well, you've gone beyond perfecting it as far as I'm concerned. You've got a phenomenal skill between the two of you. I haven't heard you playing with other collaborations that you've done, and it would be interesting to see how that worked out, because some of them probably were more technical that you were following along and listening and doing the skills that you've got, but because the singer or the other players are more technically attuned to play the notes and play the song and occasionally vary from them, but vary it in a way that they understand how to vary, that you're having to play to match. And it's less of this beautiful organic compositions that the two of you come up with probably on a regular basis, that it's never the same. It's always something slightly different. You know, like putting on your makeup. It's never going to look the exact same, because your face is never exactly the same and your mood is never exactly the same. So there'll be a little more eyeliner. There'll be a little more.
And no two stages sound the same. So it particularly, like, and no 2 days sound the same. You know, you go to the same studio, the same microphones, the same engineer. You go in there the second day and everything sounds different. So you're going to play differently, you know. So especially in a live situation where you're playing different kinds of stages, you could be playing a big concert hall, you can be playing a church. You hit that one note on the piano, it sounds completely different than the day before. So you're going to react to that. You know, Amanda's going to sing into her mic, or Faye's going to sing into her mic even, and it's going to sound different. So it's going to evoke different emotions. And I think we both play by our emotions. So, yeah.
Well, with the skill that you've got, does Dizzy come in emotionally on occasion? Is there enough of Dizzy around that occasionally in your brain, you bring him forward. Like you say, he's a little rough on the edges. He's had to check off in his shoulder occasionally. When he walks into a place, he's always checking behind him just to make sure there's nobody following him in that shouldn't be following him in. Does he come to stage on occasion? Does he actually, when he sits down, okay, I'm in a Dizzy mood. I'm in a serious Dizzy mood today. And
well, yeah, I think every time, Dizzy's fully present every song, he's never not in a Dizzy mood, right? Because I mean, that's Dizzy up there, right?
Right.
Maybe I'll confess that maybe our first performance, I remember our very first performance after we'd written all these songs. They came so fast, and we were writing songs and then recording them that they all kind of have a similar harmonic, we come from this similar harmonic garden, So I had so much trouble organizing the song. Like I had to read the music, So at that point, maybe there was more Mark than Dizzy. But now recently, I don't read. I've totally internalized the music, and now I feel like really free when I'm on stage. So, I mean that's all Dizzy all the time, So.
All Dizzy all the time.
Well, I answer your question. Is that what you meant by your question? Does Dizzy come emotionally? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, you described the persona of Dizzy, and it to me, and the same thing goes with Amanda and Fay. There's a persona that you carry with you. And I mean, I do it with the radio personality. People will say, oh, you sound like a radio personality. And I'll switch into the radio personality. That person has an entire persona associated. It's not like having bipolar or being split personality where, there's a part of you that exists and only exists that way. It's more of a sort of a socially acceptable way of allowing more of yourself to be something. And that it's not always present. Like you say, I get permission to be a little bit more out there with the radio personality than I do just me, just Stefan. Hi, I'm Stefan. And if radio personality comes out, it's hi, I'm Stefan Zaichkowski, and it's nice to see you. You just lose, and you lose the nerve. Like if somebody looks at you, what are you doing? If I'm the radio guy, it's like, hey, if you don't like it, you can always find the door.
Well, yeah. I think, it's true. I know that, like Amanda was talking about my trio. I have a trio of Johnny, Bobby, Kate, and I'm the lead singer in it. And I know if I'm staring at a room, it could be in a club, whatever song I'm singing, I got to be the guy in the song. So it's a lot like acting that way. But I don't like to call it acting, but I think you just got to be bold and fierce, and you're singing these words. That's the message, and that's all that matters. So you do that anyway. Like when I'm on stage, I'm not Mark. I'm just the guy in the song. If I'm singing from the perspective of the lyrics. So I do it anyway. As soon as I get on stage, I've learned how to do that. And at some point when you're performing, you learn, get rid of all that other stuff that you don't need to perform. Right?
Yeah. And I mean, when the two of you perform, and I'll mention Fay, I'm going to drag Fay into the conversation because we've sort of left her on the sidelines.
I know.
She's been talking so much during this interview. We have to bring her in to just say a couple of more words. But I mean, it's authenticity. That's what you're getting at, is that the level of authenticity of both playing and singing. If you're not there, if you're not actually part of the music, then the music sounds flat. It sounds, yes, you're playing a song. It's a beautiful voice. It's beautiful piano, but there's nothing coming from your soul. And this is what I meant by you push your soul through your fingertips, because the sounds that come from your keyboard, the sound that come from Amanda, from Fay, is so authentic. You feel it. You feel it in your bones. You feel this is real. Like what the words that are being sung. When you say chocolate cake, I can taste chocolate cake because it's there. It's not. And of course, there's the innuendo as well. But the point is that you get it. You get. It's not like me just saying chocolate cake. I can say chocolate cake and you go, meh. So what's your point? It's the authenticity. You make it real. You pull it from inside and you bring it out. So I wouldn't say, as you said, it's not so much acting, because acting is portraying something that isn't you. It's being more of yourself with the allowance of being that other part of yourself that you're sort of bringing in, because as you said, Mark, that Dizzy is really a lot of you.
Yeah.
And the same thing, Amanda, Fay is a lot of you.
I would say, I've learned recently to tell myself, and that before you go on stage, just be, if it was someone, I would say, just be unapologetically authentic.
Yeah.
Be unapologetically authentic. So that takes a certain kind of stubbornness and single-mindedness. So I try to remember those two words and just do it. Right?
But that's Dizzy, though. He's unapologetic. If
Yeah.
I got anything wrong, but Dizzy is unapologetic. He'll say certain things, he'll act a certain way, and it's, hey, you don't like it, you know.
Yeah. You know what I think right now? I think you should talk to Faye right now. I got to turn
that. So we're going to talk to Faye right now. We're going to talk to him. I've buttered Mark's bread way too long. So I'm going to touch base with you, Amanda, and say about your singing. So honestly, authentically, when you sing, it's as though you're singing to a single individual. If I'm listening to you, you're singing to me. I don't care how many other people are in the room. You sing to one person, to 100,000, however many people in the room. Every single person feels like you're singing to them. You have that skill. You have that ability to focus the words, the song, your look, the emotional content that comes from you, from your voice on the individual. And you feel, the person like me, when I watch it, I feel a little special, a little nervous, a little shy. I get blush in my cheeks when you say certain words and you give that look. And it's like, whoa, did you just say that to me? I feel good. This is really nice. This is really, really good. And that comes from an authenticity within yourself, that you're singing it to someone. I don't know who it is. We don't have to go into the details, but you do it so well. It's not forced. It's not pushed. And that's what makes the music so phenomenally good. When the two of you are working together, that your voice, it's pure. It's not mushed up with a bunch of the technicalities. It's just like it's like you're having a conversation. You have a cup of coffee in hand. You're talking to somebody across the table. Hi, la 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 la. You say a couple of words. They engage. But in your case, it's singing. And you even do response. It's as though, you'll say and you sing a line, and it's as though you've gotten a response from somebody, and you'll sing the next line a certain way, as though you're twisting the conversation. You're giving a little innuendo here and there. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So what I want to know when you're doing this, what's going through your head? What are you thinking?
I think I black out a little. I truly get lost in the emotion of the song. Like, it's really emotionally driven for me. And I feel like music, more than any other art form, is has this capacity or the capability of connecting us emotionally with each other. And I feel like that's kind of the whole point for me. I feel like it's my job to feel the feelings as deeply as possible so that everyone else can come with me and go there. But I have to go first. And I think it's too much to ask someone to be engaged as an audience member or a listener if you're not willing to, let all of your walls down and go there fully. Right. So I try not to think too much, actually. I try not to think about how I'm singing, only the words. Like, I'm living in the words, I'm living in the story. I see pictures. I feel things, and I let it out. So not much. I'm not thinking about a lot, but I'm feeling everything.
So even right at the very beginning, just as the first notes drop, what, in your mind, you're just beginning to take the journey. It's like being on a roller coaster, and you get to the top and you just open your mouth. Yeah. The wind rushes in, but you're not thinking about going over the top in the roller coaster. No.
Yeah, I have to be there first. So sometimes even live, like, I shake off the song before a little bit, and I have to just go to I see colors, I see moods, and it's like stepping into a room. And then once I'm in the room, I just tell the story of the room, and it's the song. So I don't know. Does that make any sense?
It does. It actually does, because when you talk about, you shake your head and you come in, there's a couple of songs where it almost looks like you're starting off angry with something. There's a look in your face that you might start the song and then all of a sudden the smile comes and it's like, oh, okay, but I don't know where you were. And that was the reason to ask, like, where are you when you begin, like when you begin the song, when you're into the song, I kind of understand that you're not thinking about the words. You're not thinking about, he's going to play this note and I'm going to sing this word and you're in it and just playing along. But at the very beginning, I see this almost like an emotional journey as it's starting just before he hits the first key. And when he hits the first key, the smile comes, the sparkle in the eye comes, and it's, wow, how did you transition? And what was happening just before that? And so, yes, your answer makes perfect sense. It's sort of an insight into Fay's approach. Now, is it Fay or is it Amanda? When the music, just before the music drops, is that you coming into persona, or is that the persona saying, yeah, sit down, honey, I got this?
That's interesting. I don't know that I think it's both. It's because I definitely, that's something I do no matter what I'm singing, in what group or what style of music. I feel like I have to be in the story. I come from folk music people, and I come from story first people, and so it's all about the story for me. And so I don't know if it's Faye stepping into my body or if it's the song. Maybe it's the song arriving, and then I don't know. This is very fascinating because I'm like actually thinking, like, what do I do? I don't really.
I
never
would
thought about this.
Think about it and see. I told you I'd throw in questions that you weren't ready for.
I love it.
So if you want to think about it and throw me an answer, that would be of value to me in future interviews with other people, to sort of ask them similar questions and get an insight into where that journey actually begins, where it starts. Because I can understand as an artist, you'd begin with, all right, we're singing this song. This is the sort of the emotion. This is the mood. But as the first notes start to drop, where do you go? Who's coming in to sing? And in this situation, which is unique to a lot of people, you have personas that you bring on stage. You have something, alter egos that play a role in this music. It's invisible, the line, the threshold for where you transition from one to the other, unless you come full bore immediately. You're Dizzy and Fay, and we don't get to see the other persona. But me seeing you and speaking with you, although Mark did correct me and say, who's this Mark guy? I don't know if I'm actually speaking with Mark and Amanda or Dizzy and Fay, but my assumption is I'm speaking with Amanda and Mark. Dizzy and Fay are sort of sitting in the background going, we'll come out when we need to, when we want to.
A little more stubborn.
So a really good question would be then, where was the very, very beginnings of music for both of you? What was the thing that started music for you? I mean, I know, Mark, what was it, 12 years old you were playing? And Amanda, you were singing even younger than that?
Go ahead, Fay.
Yeah, I grew up in a musical family, and so music is one of the things we do together. And my mom loves to sing. My father plays guitar and sings, and all of my cousins, we get together and sing in harmony. So that's the family that raised me. So it's no wonder I'm this way a little bit. I don't remember there being a time without music. And so many of us have turned into professional artists because of it in different capacities. It's just always been in my bones. And my mom says even when I was a baby, if you'd throw me on the swing, I would just start singing. La, 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 la. And the neighbor down the street knew what time it was because I'd be singing at the top of my lungs as I walked to school every day. And it's just always been there.
Nice. And Mark?
Yeah, similar. My father is a classically trained clarinet player. And we used to go, I remember being like 3 years old. We'd go see him play with the symphony, and there's a great picture. I have my dad where he's dressed like he's got like in a symphony with a white shirt, black tie. And me and two of my brothers are literally one on his head, one on one shoulder, one. and I think he's holding his clarinet or something. And so we would go see him since we could walk. And then he had a weekend band, like a dance band. He taught himself to play saxophone, so he could get gigs in swing bands and stuff.
Okay.
So and then he had his own band, and slowly my brothers and I all played in his band. So I was 12 years old, and I started singing in his band. I'd sing like 3 songs a night. When I was a pretty big kid. I was like 5'10", 5'11". I was really big for my age. And I would set up the equipment. I loved plugging in the mics and the PA system and all that. So from 12 till I was about second year, I think, university, when I started studying music at York University, that's when I finally told him, I got to quit the band, coming home every weekend, because it was like a 2-hour bus ride to get back home. And I did that every weekend, played every Friday and Saturday night since I was 12 years old. So that's, yeah. And my brothers still all play music. They don't play professionally, but my youngest brother did for a while. And yeah, it's just kind of like, it's the bond of our family for sure, the music.
So would either of you or both of you say that there's earlier work that you performed even outside of Dizzy and Fay that has influenced the work that you've done today?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
It's all part of the same bat swing, like I don't know where we are in that rotation, but it's all one motion to me,
Yeah, same.
Anything
I feel like
from the
it's
past? Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I feel like it's all part of, it's like steps towards, as opposed to like, I don't see it as any different journey. And everything seems to prep you for the next thing a little bit. I feel like that with songwriting too. Like, I've written some songs that I'll never play for anyone that I think are terrible, but they're so precious to me because they got me to the next song. I had to get to that next one, and I had to go through those to get there. But I feel like all of my musical experiences before this, singing with my family and singing harmony in Dala and like traveling and meeting other musicians and just connecting over music and all the music I've heard and listened to my whole life. Every single second that music has been in my life has led me to this minute of Dizzy and Fay, and it's been so important. And who knows where I'll be in 20 years and what musical path I'll be on. It's all very exciting.
Yeah. And it's true. It's great to have all these, man, I've played in so many different kinds of bands, especially, when I was just kind of marketing myself as a keyboardist, pianist, and just doing old country bands, rock bands, sort of punk band, whatever it was like. But what I realized, it's not about the music. When you describe how Dizzy and Fay makes you feel, you didn't say, "Oh, I love that harmony," or "I love how the vibrato on your," you didn't talk about those things. You talk about chocolate cake, you talk about, those things. So I think that the whole goal of a musician, of an artist, is, okay, let's say a musical artist, is that the listener doesn't think about music. The listener thinks about life, thinks about love, or, emotion, right?
Yeah.
So that's the secret. The music is just kind of like, I don't know, the carrot to get you to walk through that emotional door and feel like you're alive.
I would describe it more as the music is the conduit through which your emotions get to intertwine with the journey. You get to take that emotional journey with the two of you, with whoever else you're listening to, just through that nice little comfortable envelope that is the music, the song that you're listening to. Yeah.
I think a musical artist has to be brave enough to let the audience hear what the notes mean.
Yeah.
Not just the notes. You got to be a little braver than just showing what the notes are. Right?
It's sort of like bearing your soul to an audience so that they feel the authenticity, they feel the real, they feel the vulnerability. Because if you don't hear vulnerability in music, it's almost like you're just, you're listening to elevator music. You've never sat in an elevator and gone up and listened to the music and gone, wow, that just takes me somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the third floor. I mean,
Well, I think art's about connection, and if you're not vulnerable, you're not going to connect with someone. Like that's if you think of the people you're closest with in your life, it's not because you just had like happy laugh times. You know, you've let them see dark parts of you. You have let them see your whole self. And as artists, if we're not letting everyone see our whole selves on stage, we aren't going to connect as deeply. And I want it all. I want to go there with everyone.
well, I haven't yet heard anything dark from the two of you. I think you need to do something darker. I think that has to be on the playlist for illegal and illegal but harmless. Your next album. You really have to put in the dark side.
Well, maybe we got to do illegal and harmful the next record.
Okay, that's a little darker than I was expecting. Dizzy, but you know. Yeah. So, is there a song that both of you, either of you, feel? I know all of your music is precious. It's like having children. Each one of them, you can't say I am a favorite because the other ones get jealous. But in truth, in your heart, are there any songs? Is there one song that speaks to you specifically? Your favorite, your golden piece that you look at it and go, this one I really, 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 really like the way it came out, the way we work it, the way it makes me feel.
Yeah, I have one. It doesn't
have to be Dizzy and Fay. It doesn't have to be Dizzy and Fay. It can be from your past, anything.
I have one. I never thought I'd have one, but I totally do. I have a favorite.
And?
Don't tell the other songs. The last song on this record, Hooked, is probably it's my favorite. It's called Nevermind. And it has a life of its own, and it's devastating. Every time I sing it, I am destroyed, and it makes me so sad. I really love it.
I think I listened to that. I believe I actually listened to that from the album because I saw Nevermind. I went, I have a feeling I know what this is. I have to listen to it. And you do, in the version that I listened to. That I think was the song that you came in and you look angry before you start. And then you get the smile, but it's not a wholehearted. Now that I'm thinking, it's not that wholehearted beaming smile. It's just kind of, yeah, I'm putting this one on for you, but yeah, never mind.
Yeah. I have to agree. That's also on the record. It's probably my go-to song. If I, I mean, in songbook, I think "Walk Me Home," a special place in my heart. So if I can only pick one song from each record, I would say "Walk Me Home" and "Nevermind."
So you have two favorite children. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. I just think they'll both stand up. 20 years from now, they're just. I think all the songs will, but those especially. There's something, like when you write a song, you just never know, right? And then you got to go through the process of recording the song. Sometimes it sounds different when you write it, and then when you record it and listen back. So I think both of those songs came out after all the process of recording, mixing, mastering, arrangement, and then now I can listen back and go, yeah, that's exactly how I felt when we wrote it, kind of thing. So it's it was something special about those two tracks for me.
So they resonate for you, emotionally resonate for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically, it sounded like you were saying these are really phenomenal songs the way they came together. But what I'm looking for is that emotional resonance, the ones for you that come out of, deep in the soul, your favorite child. The other ones, they're good. They're good kids. They'll grow up, be talkies. They're fine.
Oh yeah. I'm not talking technically or even anything musically about it. I think I'm not talking about anything musical, but when I hear them, I feel a real satisfaction, and I think it's an emotional thing.
So now I'm going to jump to a more playful set of questions. Really, it's more about the insides of the two of you. So first, Mark, we know you play the piano. We know that that's your go-to musical instrument of choice, but I'd like to know if you have a secret lover, a secret fantasy instrument that people they may have heard a little of, but not a lot. And maybe Dizzy hasn't yet pulled it out of the closet to brush it off and see if it actually plays.
Well, if it's a secret, it's not my fault because I'll play the accordion at any chance. It's just most people don't want to hear it. So it's I do. I play accordion is actually my first instrument.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the first instrument I took lessons on. Sister Rita Joe back when I was a kid.
So how many do you have? How many?
Oh, I started collecting them years ago. I have approximately 15 accordions, different sizes and shapes and colors.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Stomach Steinway,
The Stomach Steinway.
I have never heard that. There's one that
I just made it up. I just made it up.
Well, you should. There's a song. There you go. Stomach Steinway, and play it in.
Yeah.
And you could do Nevermind with the squeeze box. Just a small squeeze. Play it sort of. That French. The French part with the little light and the cigarette, and it's Nevermind.
We could totally do Nevermind on accordion.
You'd have a whole new life.
Yeah, no problem.
I want to go there.
No, we could try it. You want me to get the accordion now? Okay.
Yeah.
And I understand that, Amanda, you also have an instrument of choice. I understand it's even on one of the songs. Is it in the second album? Mark,
it's in Hooked. I make an appearance on the kazoo.
Oh.
Yeah.
So when
it's a family instrument.
When do you come out on stage and do your kazoo performance, your kazoo solo?
It hasn't happened yet, but maybe someday.
Maybe.
I don't know I don't think Fay would admit to playing the kazoo. She's way cooler than me.
So Fay runs to the closet. Speaking of Fay running to the closet, I understand you also have another secret singing passion, Amanda, as Fay cowers in the corner.
Yeah, she's nowhere to be seen. She's gone now.
And what is it that you do with songs? I understand you do something interesting with songs.
Well, my brothers and I really like to do parody versions of songs and take some of our favorite songs and turn them into join them into a different style that juxtapose against the original style as much as possible. We made an entire album of music for one of my brother's weddings of all of his favorite songs done in alternate styles, and it was one of my favorite things I've ever done.
So it's Amanda, Weird Al, Walter.
Yes. Pretty much.
You just need the mustache. That's all.
I've always wanted a mustache. So
have you really? And how does Faye feel about a mustache?
She'd be cool.
Really? Got to do a stage performance, or at least in the closet. The dressing closet, the dressing room. You could do that. So the question I ask everybody, and I'm going to ask you both, best advice you have ever been given, and who gave it to you? Take it away, Faye.
Oh, I've received some really beautiful advice from different people that I've internalized at this point. But what's funny is one of the things is practical. Stuart McLean on the Vinyl Cafe tour we were on in 2008, every time we exited the stage or after meeting people in the lobby, immediately he was like, wash your hands. Right away. And it was like a tour rule. All of us had to go and wash our hands immediately. And honestly, that has saved me so many colds through my career. I'm so grateful. So I know it seems like a silly thing, but as a touring musician, your health is everything. And when you're a singer, your throat is everything. So yeah. So wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Great. And Mark?
I'm just going to wash my hands first and then I'll answer. Well, mine was, I got to meet probably my biggest jazz hero of my young life was Oscar Peterson. And actually, when I was studying jazz at York University, he came in as an instructor and a guest instructor. He would come in every few weeks. And and he would give these master classes, and we could stand beside him. And one time he sat beside me on the bench, and it was mind blowing. And I was, had so much respect for him. But he said something to piano players specifically, and I think, but it applies to everybody. He said, "Only play what's under your hands." It's only play what's under your hand. Now, Oscar is probably technically one of the most advanced pianists of all time. Like the things he can do technically, like, do this with one hand and then a whole other thing with the other hand, play them together, octaves apart. It was mind-blowing, his technique. And for him to say that, it kind of really struck me. I go, what is he talking about? He plays all over the piano, like north, south, east, and west, like nobody's business. But as I got older, I started to take that metaphorically, and it was like, only play what's under your hand, only play what's inside of you, only play what's in your heart. Be you, right? That's so. I don't know if he even meant it that way, but that's what it transformed for me, and that's like the biggest lesson, I think, for me.
That's phenomenal. And is that the one that you would give to someone else as well?
Absolutely. And I actually, I blurted it out one time. We used to work on a television show where we had musical contestants and stuff, and it probably came from that. But I told this young singer, I said, just have the courage to be yourself. And it's kind of along the same lines as just play what's under your hands, So, and that would be my biggest thing, is just be you. Everybody else is already taken. Nobody's as good at being you as you are, right? So that really super condensed message when you're performing, when you're standing on stage singing a song, right? You got to be you 100%. Otherwise, it doesn't come off as authentic. And it's really bull, if you're trying to sound like somebody else, right? It's a wasted, chance to really connect with people.
Yeah, I completely agree. Completely agree. So what's next? What's up on the chopping block for Dizzy and Fay?
We've got lots going on, actually. We're playing a bunch of shows. We've got lots lined up for the rest of the year. We're going out west and traveling a little bit. But we're also working on more Dizzy and Fay dates, it's our YouTube series where we perform our songs sometimes even before they're released on a record of any kind, and just kind of share with people what we're working on. And we're really excited to do a new batch this year.
Yeah, and we're mailing out vinyl. The new vinyl's in, so orders are in, and we have to mail them out to everyone who wants the vinyl. So that's going to keep us super busy.
That's phenomenal. Well, here we are going to be playing Hooked from the incomparable Dizzy and Fay. Enjoy.
Loss of appetite.
Okay, it has been my sincere pleasure, Amanda, Mark, and Dizzy and Fay, and it's been an enjoyable experience. I look forward to all your new work. Hopefully you'll include me in your mailing list when you're doing your YouTube mail outs, because I absolutely adore all the work that you do. I'm going to be listening to everything possible. I can't listen to vinyl because I don't have a record player anymore. If I did, I would definitely get it, because I'm sure the sound quality is phenomenal, and I'd be able to sit back with a gin, the lights down low, and just listen to the music as though it's being sung only for me. And maybe possibly I'll catch you at the distillery. That would be phenomenal. I would definitely love to do that. You'll have to let me know what dates you're going to be playing there, because it'd be worth my while for sure.
Yeah, if you remember to jump on our website every now and then, we always keep it updated.
Okay.
We are at the distillery April 26th is our next.
Okay.
And you're in Ottawa, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So
I didn't realize I was over here to your left, or to your right.
Probably change that. Yeah.
For me, you're the farthest on my right hand side, and then Amanda, you're right beside me. Even though I'm looking straight at you, you're actually right beside me here. So
I have 4 quadrants. So
Brady Bunch. You have the Brady Bunch pictures. Yes.
Yeah, Brady Bunch. Wow.
Where's the maid? She's not in the middle here.
Yeah, I got a blank one on the right.
Oh, that's Corey. That's the producer.
Corey. I have Corey. Okay.
So it's been an absolute pleasure. And again, I look forward to everything that you've got coming up, possibly the illegal but harmless, or illegal and harmful. We'll see how dark Dizzy and Fay can get.
Right.
Thanks to all 4 of you for being here talking with me.
What a pleasure. What a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.